gasoline I smell?
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel, guys. I hope you are doing amazing as always, and it's me, Joe, as always. And today, guys, I want to talk about my twist, my take on Halloween Ends and how I would do the story of Halloween Ends. So sit down, relax, and let's check out my version of Halloween Ends. And I'm really excited about this, guys. So let me know down below if you like this version or not. So first act, psychological. 3 weeks to Halloween. We follow Allison as she goes through her regular therapy session. She talks about what she's been through, losing her mom and her dad and everyone whom she loved. Lori has moved on. She bought a new house where she lives together with Allison. She's writing a book about her story. So this is kind of similar to Halloween Ends, where also Lori and Allison live together, and Lori is writing, her memoirs about her life, right? So this is kind of similar, but I wanted to shift more focus to Allison because I think that she's really important and that, she might be dealing with some sort of PTSD, right? Because she lost her dad, her mom, her friends, her boyfriend, and essentially everyone, right? Except Lori. Although Lori is doing fine, the same can't be said about Allison. She's unable to concentrate at school, she's having troubles doing even the most basic things. But she's trying her best, and Lori is helping her to cope with what happened. The first act would show how Myers scarred Allison and Lori, but not just them, but the whole town of Haddonfield. But again, its main focus would be Lori and Allison. And Frank Hawkins a bit, because I like what they did with Frank in Halloween Ends, that they actually, showed some conversations between Lori and Frank in that grocery store. But I think that that's not enough, so I sort of expanded upon that in my version. Second act, party, party, party. Second act would open with October 31st, Halloween night, 2022. As Lori would be leaving the house to go on a date with Frank. Which, again, this is how I expand the story, and I think that's a really cool idea. And I was maybe expecting something like that in Halloween Ends to happen, that they would go on a date, but that never really happens in the movie. And also, as Lori would be leaving the house to go on a date with Frank, he invited her to a fancy restaurant downtown. So yes, that's, Frank invited her to a date. Meanwhile, Allison is doing much better now. Again, this is essentially 3 weeks later, so yeah, she's doing much better now. She got a lot of friends at school, she met at school, and she invited them over to a Halloween party. We see her preparing everything. So Allison is preparing like a big Halloween party because she's now finally doing much better, right? She made a progress and she invited her friends over, right, to celebrate Halloween. We got to the Halloween. Fuck. We got to the Haddonfield streets as children are trick-or-treating and having fun. We would see the streets being full of people in costumes and people just having fun and enjoying themselves. Jack-o'-lanterns everywhere as we go from an evening to the Halloween night. All of a sudden we can hear the wind blowing through trees and streets. Like that typical sort of October style wind, like you know what I'm talking about, right? Hopefully. Then we see a shot of an empty street. We can just hear the wind. It's getting louder and louder, and then we see him just standing there still, not making a single move. Michael is just standing there in the middle of an empty street. Suddenly, we can hear him breathing. We see a close-up on his face. He looks like he's ready to kill. We won't explain where he's been all these years because it doesn't matter. He's the Shape and that's all that matters. So in my version, I would not explain where Shape has been for the past 4 years. He would just be standing there all of a sudden, ready to kill. extremely powerful, because remember what Laurie said at the end of Halloween Kills. The more he kills, the more he transcends. You know what I mean? The more powerful he gets. So that's essentially what I'm going for here. Like, I want him to be fucking so powerful and just so brutal and everything. So yeah. So that's that. And as he and as he's navigating through Haddonfield, he kills everyone who steps in his way. We see about 6 or 7 Halloween Kills like brutal kill scenes. What I mean by that is, these kills are gonna be so brutal in a way how kills brutal were in Halloween Kills, right? So it's just brutal kills, Michael killing anyone who steps in his way, Anyone who sees Michael is dead. So some brutal kill scenes, really cool scenes, so just some cool shit. We cut back to Allison having the party. Imagine this party to be a lot like the party in the first Scream. So the first, the first Scream movie, the party at the Stu's house, something like that. And her friends are having a good time, watching horror movies, drinking, and just enjoying the party. We cut back to Michael as he's getting closer to the house because the music is loud and he sees that there are a lot of potential victims right there just waiting for him. Again, it's really windy outside and we can see Michael looking at the house. Leaves are everywhere and we can see wind blowing through the tree Michael is hiding behind. We cut back to Laurie and Frank as they are on a date. They talk about what they've been through and how it changed them. And surprisingly, they bond over that. We cut back to Laurie's new house. The party is almost at its peak. Allison is just about to hook up with this guy so they go upstairs to the bedroom. They kiss, but suddenly there's a blackout. All lights are off. Allison is wondering about what's going on. Then we cut to Michael entering the house and killing every single person there. About 10 people, he's slashing them left and right. Allison and the guy are upstairs and they can hear all the screaming. Allison is terrified and says, "That's him. Again." Michael is back. We cut back to Laurie and Frank as they moved from the restaurant to a bar. They are having a good time and all of a sudden someone turns on the TV. And Frank gets a call from the police department. On the TV, the reporter says that they found multiple bodies. Laurie asks Frank about what's going on. "It's him, Laurie. He's back. We have to go. Now." Laurie is in shock and tells Frank that they have to go to her house to make sure Allison is okay. We cut back to Allison and the guy. Bruno, that's the name of the guy, takes his pocket knife and Allison grabs her gun that was given to her by Laurie. Michael walks into the room. He has blood all over him as Bruno aims his flashlight at him. So, Michael is just freaking covered in the blood. He's like freaking bloody. We've never seen him that bloody. He's just covered up in that blood from all those people that he killed downstairs. Laurie and Frank arrive at the house and then immediately go in. They aim the flashlight at all the dead bodies. Allison screams and Laurie hears that. They hear the screaming, they run upstairs and see Bruno dead. And Allison that then sort of like walks out of the closet and says to Laurie, "It's him. He's back, Laurie." As Laurie is trying to help Allison, to calm down, Frank gets attacked by Myers and Myers throws him down the stairs. So now Frank is injured and, you essentially just have Shape, Allison, and Laurie, in the same room. Now it's the final fight. And then the final fight, the final 15 minutes, that can totally be those 15 minutes, those last 15 minutes from the actual Halloween Ends. I think that works really well. It just could be a cool fight, but you get a great addition of, Frank being there, even though he's injured, he's still there, and sort of then they walk out with, like Ellison and Laurie and Frank, they walk out of the house. Everybody is just looking at them. The police is there, and then they can take his body, Michael's body, to junkyard, and they can like process him or whatever. But this is my idea for Halloween Ends, because again, when I saw the movie, now listen, does Halloween Ends work as a final chapter? No, it doesn't. We all know that it doesn't. Come on. But I like the movie as a spin-off, as like an individual standalone movie. I think it works really well. But as a sequel, and not just a sequel, but a final movie, it just doesn't work, right? So that's why I removed Corey entirely, and I focus more on just the core characters, right? You got Ellison, Laurie, and Lorison, what the fuck? Ellison, Laurie, and Frank, right? And some people like Lindsay a lot, and if you like Lindsay, I think that I can totally sort of put her into this kind of idea, right? Maybe she can help Laurie with the date, maybe they can talk about it and stuff. There are a lot of things, you can do with this, and I think that this works. Because the shape here is just brutal all the way through. He's so fucking powerful, which is based on how Laurie described him in Halloween Kills. The more he kills, the more he transcends into this pure form of evil. You know what I mean? So that's that, and I think that this just works much better. Even though having the party similar to the party in Scream, in the first Scream movie, I think that would work really well. And again, just Michael killing everyone. That's what Michael is, right? It's just pure evil, right? So that's really cool, and I really do like this idea. Let me know your thoughts about this down below, guys. I really want to know your thoughts. Or let me know your idea for Halloween Ends. That's all for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Take care as always, and bye.